I'm sure you remember metaphors and similes. Metaphors and similes are tools that a writer may use to put an idea or an impression in the mind of the reader, to actually make a picture more clearer. We learned that a metaphor is actually a figure of speech that suggests that one thing is similar to something else that it is actually not similar to at all. Here's an example of a metaphor. The old man had a heart of stone. Do you see the metaphor? It's quite obvious that a man cannot have a heart of stone. If our hearts were made of stone, we'd die, wouldn't we? Well, a stone and a human heart are not similar at all. What do you think this metaphor is trying to tell us about the man? Ask yourself, if your heart was made of stone, what kind of person would you be? I'll tell you the answer. The metaphor gives the impression that the old man has no feelings, or probably has no regard for other people. Here are some other examples of metaphors. If you can figure out the meaning of the metaphor, then point and click to see if you are on target. The boat plowed the sea as it raced to the finish line. Her voice was honey. The air had icy fingers which gripped his throat. We learned about metaphors, and now we're going to learn about similes. Writers also use the simile to express ideas. How do you think a simile is similar to a metaphor? A simile is very similar to a metaphor because it compares two things that seemingly have no connection, just like a metaphor. The only difference is a simile makes a comparison between two unrelated objects, but it uses the word like or as. Remember we learned that metaphors don't? Well, similes do. Let's read these similes. Her voice was like honey. The burglar was quiet as a mouse. Do you actually think the noise made by a burglar is really similar to the noise that a mouse might make? Of course not. They're actually very different. But the reader understands from the simile that the burglar was very quiet, because a mouse is very quiet. Are you beginning to understand similes now? What's the difference between a metaphor and a simile? We know that metaphors and similes are very much alike, except that a simile usually uses the words as or like.
Double wonderful. Smart kid. Very good. Very well done. Most excellent. Wonderful. Nice choice.